This is the Stockwell Eldridge Show, giving you the real-time information you need to make educated decisions about buying and selling in the world-renowned Twin Cities. Now your hosts and real estate experts, Jason Stockwell and Don Eldridge.
Good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Welcome to the Stockwell Eldridge Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Don Eldridge with Remax Results.
Every Sunday at 10 a.m. here on AM 1280 The Patriot. And we have a great show for you today with special guests, Chad with New Age Technology. He's here talking about low voltage and doing that theater project for your Christmas gift for yourself or for your family. And we have Stephanie Havel here with Wells Fargo.
Hey, good morning. Stephanie Havel,
Glasses
Wells
this
Fargo
show. I
Home
like them a
Mortgage.
lot.
Yeah, just trying to change it up a little bit as I'm getting older. I went to the eye doctor, actually. I thought I was all excited. I'm going to get, contacts. I'm going to have laser surgery.
Yeah.
Something. He goes, no, you're just getting old and you just need cheaters. For
Nice,
real.
perfect.
Yep. So he said, no, just it happens. I'm like, okay, great.
I
So-
thought they had laser for cheaters now, though. They might
well,
have.
they might, but apparently my vision is still good enough
Oh.
that I don't need it
that's
because I
positive.
was
Well,
like,
that's
I'm
good.
Well, I'm just always tired of fumbling to find a pair of glasses, though, for crying out loud. But that's okay, I guess. Be thankful that I can still see with just cheaters. I don't need surgery.
And
That's a
that you
good
can
thing.
afford the cheaters that you're wearing.
Yeah.
And we can go all into that, right?
Foster grants from Walgreens.
Gratitude for everything. And we have Don Doty with Home Place Inspections back. Don, how you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me again.
You bet. So we're going to talk about a number of things today. The theater, home theater, low voltage stuff that you can do that's the latest and greatest technology in that, which I'm excited about with Chad. Some cool things that you should know or some tips that you should know before winter is setting in. It's set in already, but that you should do now if you haven't done them before the end of the year. And also I wanted to touch base with Stephanie and Dawn and get their opinions on one of the questions we get a lot when we go talk with sellers or we get an inquiry from a seller, and most you sell, if you're selling your home or considering selling your home next year, or maybe now, but maybe after the first of the year sometime in January, February. Two tips for you. One would be the early seller gets the buyer or buyers. So if you're the early bird, you're going to get more buyers. So go on earlier than you expect. Don't wait until May like you may want to. Go in February if you can, because you're early, you're going to beat the other competition to the table, and the buyers are going to be out there earlier than you anticipate. They usually always are out earlier than we expect. And so if you're able to take advantage of that, I would recommend that. And then the second thing is on your valuation. Most sellers have an idea of what their home is worth. You have an idea, right? You've researched a little bit, especially if you're strongly considering selling. And a lot of sellers we talk to use the assessed value. And we just recently got our new information, probably a couple weeks ago, from the counties on our projected values for the coming year. And also our projected tax increase. I should say increase because I would guess that 90+% of them probably went up, maybe even more. It's kind of the way it's going with the property taxes. So the question is, here's my question. Those are the two tips, but my question to that is, what is the difference between your home's estimated market value and the assessed value? Because many people think the assessed value is a direct translation to the market value. You know why? Is because one of the statements, it says
And
estimated
what is more
market
accurate?
value.
The market
right?
value, not the assessed.
But they tell you a statement that says market value. So if you're not a realtor like us or someone who maybe has someone directly at hand as real estate information, might look at it and say, well, there's my market value. That's what my home is worth. What do you think, Dawn?
Well, I
What's the
usually
difference?
find the market value or the assessed value. It depends on the city, quite honestly. But I noticed in Edina, it seems like most commonly the assessed value is actually lower than the value of the home, is what I'm seeing lately.
Which is good because that's what you pay taxes off is the assessed value, correct?
Yes. I think also Minneapolis seems like it's probably the assessed value is maybe a third below what the true market value of the home is. Are you seeing that too, Don, when you're doing truth in housings in Minneapolis? Do you even look at the tax information?
I always was told that it was 15% less, just so that the people aren't paying taxes on the maximum.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So the trick question, the answer to is not, it could be 100% on, it could be off by
Right.
a ton.
You have to get a true market value from a professional.
Compare
to
that
know.
to the realtor's one, because
Yeah.
that's one piece of the puzzle that would apply to your property.
And we do those for free.
Yes, we will give you an assessment on your home anytime if you want. And the other thing that I've seen is dramatic increases in the property taxes. We got some statements recently, 32% increase in the taxes for the next year. That's, I think, is a little it's too high. It's too much of an increase in my opinion.
That
And they
was a
put the
big jump.
value increase as a dramatic value increase too. So one could claim that it's a catch-up phase for the market coming back and rebounding. But I still think that would be so you can actually go and fight that and get a lower value, which I know many sellers do, or many homeowners do. You can go and appeal that with the city. So I would recommend doing that if you have the time and if it is an exorbitant amount, if you think it's out of line with the increase. Now, with that being said, you're trying to lower the value of your home on the tax base. But if someone were to offer you a higher price, you're definitely
Right.
going to go with that.
Or
I imagine.
refinancing, people always, get frustrated, because their house isn't, valued enough. And it's like, well, you're not paying taxes on that high amount either. So, yeah, we want the best of both worlds. We want it high when we're selling or refinancing, but then low when we're paying taxes and everything else.
Yeah, and I think in every county I've seen so far, they've been going up across the board, partly because of the market, and they can justify the values going up. And the data's there. All the data's there. They look at the comps in the neighborhood, and they can show that the data's there. So that's. But be grateful, as we talked on the last week. Be grateful about being able to pay them. Hopefully, you're able to pay them, and if
Or
you
having
are,
a house to have them on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
To have taxes for.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
Or Don. Traditionally, people think let's just go back a little bit. Traditionally, people think that it's a good idea to get their house on the market in the spring. It's just like, why do they think that when I inspect houses year round? So if you've got a buyer at Christmas time that flies in to see their folks, wouldn't you want to have your house still on the market, even say at Christmas? Because there's real buyers still out there. It's not like the whole thing shuts off.
Right.
So I would say get the house listed even earlier than February.
Oh, if you can, yes. I would say I would say after the first of the year, if you're trying to time it, right? And they tell you, my Morgan Stanley guy that I work with a little bit says, don't try to time the market and the stock market, right? Same thing in
Right.
real estate. But if you're looking at if you're saying, well, what's the best possible time? It generally is the activity and the interest is usually higher. The more buyers out there in the spring. But even early in, you could say in mid-January and after pretty much is the whole spring season. And other agents will attest to that and show the data shows that too. When you look at the pending sales that come through and towards the end of January, February, and March, they're just massive pending sales. They close in April and May, and that's why the closed sales look really good in the spring.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right, Don. A lot of people are still we're a year-round cycle now with our businesses that we have, with our relocation, and with the economy the way it is. People move year-round. Now, you're not going to have the flood of buyers that come through in December during the holidays. However, the ones that are, if they are looking, they're serious people. They're
And
really
you have
serious.
less competition.
Yeah.
You could be the best one out there
Yep.
in the winter season and not the best one in the spring.
And if you're a buyer,
Yeah.
And
on
get
the
more
flip
money.
side as a buyer, I would say on a buyer, you can also, because it is the winter and there's less buyers, you could probably negotiate a little bit too, or get a house that the person maybe isn't trying to time the market and they truly have a very, very compelling reason to sell. So that's why they are on the market when others have chosen to take it off the market and come back on later.
Right.
I see that a lot too. But if they're on in that time, there's a reason for that. So
I just want to address something too. So if you're on the market in the fall and it goes into winter and you're priced at, we'll just say $375. You decide you're going to wait and go back on in February at $385. When
Why
you
would you-
didn't sell at $375, that's a huge mistake because buyers can see that the price has gone up. They know that there was a price increase because now there's an arrow next to the price. Even when you relist it, that shows it was previously marketed at a lower price before, and I've seen it repeated the last couple
where
of
you wait
years.
and then go back on at a higher price.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that all depends. If you're getting a data that says yes, we've had a massive good increase and you can get this, okay, great. But generally, that short of time period, you're not going to get that big of a change in the market in that short of a time. So yes, I would agree. I would concur with that recommendation on that. So, and if you're thinking about stuff for next year, if you're planning ahead, we have a lot of one-level living options you should consider. I know we talked about it on previous shows. Call us about that. And also, if you're thinking of selling, you should get your information and your assessments from realtors now would not hurt. We have a lot of good opportunity to meet between Thanksgiving and Christmas now, and that can get everything. So you're planning ahead. You're making that plan when there's time for us agents and for everybody to plan ahead. And same thing with your mortgage, right,
Right,
Stephanie?
absolutely. I mean, a lot of people take their vacation time in there.
Gather your paperwork and get all your
Right.
stuff in now because
It's
you're
everything-
already doing your
yeah.
tax stuff probably anyway, so why not get that preparation instead of waiting until things are crazy in March, with everything besides selling houses.
Right. Well, it's
everything
always
else is-
good. We talk about annual mortgage checkups all the time, just do a review, just to make sure you might be in a really great rate right now. And we also do, every one of my loan officers, when we do a review of your mortgage, we look to see what are your property taxes? Are they being paid? Are you escrowed? Is it something you should be asking the county about? And then also their homeowner's insurance. Take a look at your homeowner's insurance. Ask your agent, hey, is there any opportunities for deductions? Am I getting the best rate? And quotes and all that kind of stuff. And then same thing, if you're looking to buy a new home, get pre-approved. Know what you're qualified for. So maybe you do got to save a little bit more money if you want to, go to that one-level house or upgrade or build or whatever.
Yeah.
Get prepared. It's a great way to start.
And you have
the
an
year.
idea probably in your head of what you want to buy and the price range you want to buy in. Is that a reality? Same thing as a seller on the flip side. You have an idea of what your home is worth. Is that a reality? Is that something that can really happen? And then what is your net? Just because you sell the house for $375, what are you actually getting in your pocket after you sell the home with expenses and costs and in fees all the way across the board, not just from realtor fees, but there's all kinds of other things that you have to consider as well. So
State and title fees.
yeah, there's a lot of it. And I could throw one more thing for Don in here is it'd be a good time if you want and consider selling, have it checked out now so you have time to do some of those repairs that you may want to do or that you've been putting off for a year or 10 years or 20 years, and you can do those over the winter before you go on in the spring. So
Absolutely. The best time to do something? Today.
That's right.
Yes.
I love it. Take massive action now.
stay tuned. We'll be back with more.
Don't let it